Hello there, welcome to another Brickright vlog, and we're on a quote to do some work. So you can come with me, you can join me, and I'll show you. The driveway is right outside the car, so we'll get out there and show you exactly what I need to look at and the key points to take into consideration, whether you're a consumer or whether you're a landscaper or a builder doing your quote. So join me outside. So here's the job then. Customers rung me, done some work out the back before, but that's immaterial. So he's rung me, and what he wants is this concrete driveway replaced. He's looking for, I believe, like a block paving system to go in here. So this is the entirety of it, right the way up to the garage there. And I think it's all the way up there as well. He lives in Australia, he does, and he lives in South Wales six months of the year and 6 months out in Australia. So he's not here at the moment, so it's a bit difficult. So on first appearances then, what I'm looking at, quoting this job, is concrete. How many cracks is in it? How difficult is that going to be to get that concrete up? So there's numerous cracks in it here. It's all cracked over there. It's pretty much cracked everywhere. There's a massive crack that you could see where the cracks are because they've tried to repair it unsuccessfully. So this section looks pretty good to rip up, although this section up through here looks a little bit more stable, and likewise with that there. So mixed bag on that one so far then. So it's probably going to be relatively easy down here, but quite difficult where I've just been. So that's first thing. Second thing I'm looking at is, once we've dug all that out, the grab wagon is going to pull up right along here, right down here. It's not a problem at all. It's a dead end into there, so there's no cars coming down, so it's not going to be an issue. You can get it, we can store all the stuff here, all the rubble, and you can grab it and pick it away. So access is pretty good. There's a builder's wagon up there as we speak, look. They can get down here, no issue at all. So access is ticked, that's good. Right then, another thing I'm looking at is the severity of the slope. You probably can't see this on the camera, but this is quite a sloped driveway from that level down to where I'm stood. The severity of that slope is coming, the water's coming down here and probably into that garden area there quite quickly. So what I'm looking at now, the next thing I'm going to be going through is drainage. So in terms of drainage then, what we've got to consider is where's all the water going to go. So all the water is going to, I'll spin you around 2 seconds, all the water is going to go down to that section of the drive here, right? So Welsh government legislation, I think it's the same in England and the rest of the UK now as well, is that you have to put a drainage system, i.e. eco drains, across the front of the drive. That then will catch all the water that's coming down here. It'll go into the eco drains, but you know, to comply with SUDS, and you can look at SUDS, SUDS, look at SUDS online if you're having a driveway. I'm not going to blither on about it, but check out SUDS. That'll give you a good indication as to what I'm talking about. So the water has to be contained within your own property. So you can either we can put eco drains there, and the drainage can drain into a flower bed. So there's a flower bed and there's a flower bed, but this area here is higher level wise to this, and there's a massive tree, ash tree there by the looks of him. So I think what I would suggest in this instance is you put a crate, because there's a lot of water coming off this and it's going to whoosh down there pretty quick. So we don't want to break any rules with the government, God forbid. So we either put a soak away in here, or we can put a soak away in this section here, like a crate system soak away. So that's what I'm going to be pricing up for. Whether it goes here, I'd have to speak to the client, or whether it goes under the drive, immaterial, but that's what we're going to be pricing for. Right, whilst we're talking about drainage, I've come up to the main section of the property here now. Now this is probably pre-damp proof course, because it's a stone 1800s Victorian character building, which is absolutely stunning in my eyes, but there's no DPC in it. Maybe DPC injection, but no DPC. Out here the ground is low enough to floor level, so we don't have to worry about that. We have got a couple of brick vents there, look, So they're probably venting. It's probably got a wooden floor in it, and that's venting underneath the wooden floor to stop rot. So there's 2 brick vents there and one over there as well. So we can't bring the driveway up and block those. So I'm looking at that. So that's that. There's also no gully on the end of this pipe here, and all that water is coming straight down onto that. Now that, if we look up there, oh, it's a 3-story building, so it's quite high. All that is coming off the main roof. So we've got all the main roof and that little bay window there, all coming down onto this. And it's not raining now, but you can see that there's water coming out of there. So there's water coming down here as well. So we got to incorporate that. Now what we need to do is, it's not ideal to have running water coming onto a driveway. So what we would probably recommend is that we take that water, put a brand new gully in there, take that water underneath here, and either put it into a soakaway there, or just let it run out into this area here, so that all the sand from the driveway is not being washed out and there's not water being put on top of the driveway all the time. So that's that bit. This bit up here, it seems pretty good. What we need to do is ask our client to see if there's any issues with damp in this section here. If it's not and everything is fine, it's good to go. If we have got damp issues going on in there, what I would suggest is possibly put in, just as an extra protection, some eco drains running parallel to the house down there, and then they again could be incorporated into this gully system and put down there. But that would just be, you know, a kind of added extra really. But I think don't think we really need them. Another key point is he's got his garage here, look. So what we don't want our driveway being higher than the garage floor level. So it's key that when we come in, really you want your driveway, this bit, to be lower than that bit, so water doesn't backtrack into the garage. This edge in here is not going to be sufficient, because if you can see, next door's is a lot lower than the height I'm stood on. So this is higher, next door's is lower. So we've got to put a good edging restraint in there to contain the driveway all the way down there, right up tight against the tree. So that is probably going to be quite tricky, simply because we're right next to tree roots, because that brickwork, that brick on edge, is just not adequate enough, and we're going to have to put edging restraints all the way down here, all the way down there, and all the way up the perimeter of the drive. Don't need them up against the house, because the house is the edging, and all them need to be concreted in. So drainage is covered, so I've identified all that and all the restraints and all the containment on the sides. Now I'm thinking about what materials would suffice for this. So when you're looking at block paving, you know, environmentally now is key. It's very, very good to consider like a Marshall's Priori. I think it's called a Priori range. Not sure if it's discontinued, but what it means is it's a permeable driveway system. So when you lay your system down, all the water will travel through. It's designed to travel through the paving and into like a giant soakaway is the easiest way to explain it. So like a giant soakaway over the whole area. Problem with that is, and this is my issue, and a lot of people just want to ignore it, and so do the manufacturers, to be honest with you. They invent these systems and it's great, but like if you look on the Marshall's YouTube page, they will say to you that you're supposed to dig, like do a percolation test. So it's to do that, you dig a square, say like 300 by 300 cubed in the ground, and then there's a set time scale where you fill it up once, time how quick the water drains away, fill it up again, time how quick the water drains away, and those equations will give you whether the soil is suitable for you to put a permeable driveway system in. We live in Wales, everything is clay. For me, that don't tend to work very well, because if the water's travelling through the system, great, but then if it's travelling through the system, you want it to work, and I don't know, I haven't really got confidence in it. So anybody else has got thoughts on, I'll leave them in the comments below for me. So for materials, you start thinking about what type of blocks would suit, whether it's clay, whether it's concrete, on the block paving side of things, what size materials would look good, what would look good up against the period style of the house. You know, is you something too contemporary and too modern on something like this in the street that we're in would look a little bit silly. So you've got to be sensible in what you're recommending in terms of material. So yeah, on my quote, I'm also looking at, are we having an impact on the neighbours? That's all contained across there, no issue. That's all contained there, no issue. So no kind of disruption for the neighbours. But what I will say to our clients, if we do get the job, is we will be saying, telling next door that we're going to be working, simply because this might well be, they might well be disrupted with the lorries and stuff that we got coming down the street, just to let them know, give them that courtesy. So that's what I've highlighted as well. No outside water that I can visibly see, and I can't remember from doing the work on the back. There possibly may be water and electricity in here, but there's nothing outside to plug into. So I need to get that kind of talked about and looked at, the water and electricity. Back to the drainage, just spotted this lurking and hiding in the corner. So that also goes way up there into the roof. So that needs to be sorted. We don't want running water going on top of our paving. As it is now, they've already got it going out into the garden. So that needs to be accommodated for and sorted out, the same as what I said previously. Measuring, right, I got a little special measuring walkie wheelie thing that I use. Well, I'll stick you on a time lapse and I'll show you how I measure it out. But basically, measure every single part of this drive to get an accurate measurement, so that you can price up accurately, which is a no-brainer. So now we're sat back in the car. It's just a case now of going through and seeing what driveway system would look nice up against that period property. So it's just highlighting what would look nice. So this is a Tobermoor range. So we're registered with Tobermoor to install their products and Marshalls. So the Tegular, that would look nice. So Tegular is basically a little bit kind of rough and ready around the edges, and they come in various different sizes. So that would look nice. They got Tegular sets as well. So if you wanted to do your edging, like an edge, and you wanted to incorporate a feature, and the client wanted to pay, a couple of quid extra just to get that in, that would look nice, because on the property, it's got the white around the brickwork and on the plinth, and like a castle bond around the windows and on the pillars here. So that edging would look pretty nice. Something like this. Shannon, that's a little bit more contemporary. Sienna sets, well, if you want it in like a cobble type look, the sets would give it that. So that's pretty good. The Manhattan, well, that's really contemporary. So if you wanted to put that up against that, it'd probably look alright. But in my eyes, modern against old doesn't look any good, to be honest with you. They got a nice retro range on theirs there, look. I don't know if you can see that, but that's really, really nice. I know into different stuff then. So that's the Tobermoor. We'll have a look at the Marshalls. Here we go on to the Marshalls. So they're introducing their driveway section with the natural stone driveway. So something like that, and I'll show what colours they do, but that would look pretty nice on this, wouldn't it? So there we go, driveway sets, something like that. That'll look really, really nice. Natural stone, something that would look really, really nice. It's a luxury product. If you go down to the bottom right hand corner of the Marshalls book, you see those pound signs. The more pound signs, the more money it costs, just to give you an idea. But again, that's the Scoutmore sets. They look really, really nice. Magna sets, they're pretty good. They're alright, a little bit contemporary looking, but a little bit straight edged. The Farnley sets, I know I've seen these, they look really, really good. They would look lovely on there. Granite, Newdale, you can have a look at all these yourself. And then you've got porcelain driveways as well. I don't think porcelain's going to look very good there. I think if I was to choose one, I'd go for the retro one in the Tobermoor, and I quite like the look at these Farnley sets in the Marshalls. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go away and we're going to start to work out a price for this client, and we're going to recommend some paving materials, maybe two to start with. We'll do one a kind of lower range to give him an idea upon price as to what he's going to cost him for like a lower range, and then we'll do one a higher range, and then if he's interested and he wants another price for the medium range, then that's absolutely fine. That's what we're going to get on with next. We've got all my square meterages now, and it's absolutely critical that when you do your quoting, get your measurements right, because that'll equate for everything. So we've got a set square meterage that I've got that I work to. If you haven't got a set price, then basically what you need to do is work out all your materials on your square meterage. So you need to work out how much you're digging out. There's mathematical equations there to do that. It's just volume. Just work out volume, meters cubed. Work out how much you're digging out. That'll tell you how many grab wagons you need to dig it out. Then it'll tell you how much MOT to put in. Same equation. It's just meters cubed. Work it out with your so it's length times breadth times height, and then if you basically times that by 2, that'll give you how much you want to bring in and how much you want to bring out roughly. Okay. And then your meterages for your sand is the same, or whether you use like a stone dust or a grano, and likewise for the meterage for the actual paving. But what I haven't done, I'll go back out there and do now, is I haven't put my linear meterages in for my edging. Now in terms of edging, you can either go for a flat concrete and just have it a concrete path edging, or you can go for a special, like I know in the Marshall's catalogue they do like a black edging and different edgings to suit different paving systems, which looks really nice on the sides, but then it pushes the price up a little bit. So we'll go measure that now, and then we got everything that we need. Then there we are, 40 linear meters. Just been back out there now. 40 linear meters is the edging. So what I'll do now, I'll go back to the office, work all this out now in my own time. I don't ever work prices out directly on site, because you need to think over a cup of tea or a cup of coffee exactly what you're pricing for, get it right. And quite often you go back to the office and think of something you haven't thought about on site. So give yourself an opportunity to go back, have a think about it, write it all out, price it all up with your square meterages. Then the next protocol for me, this is the way I do it, is I phone the client up. Don't go putting anything in writing straight away, because if you don't want it, you're just wasting your bloody time and your ink. So give them a bell, speak to them, go through the job with them, exactly what's incorporated in the work. If they then wanted me to go back for a second consultation, the next part of the quotation would be to highlight the materials, get samples, get them delivered to my property or their property, go out, go through what the samples are, what they mean, how they're going to be installed, what the benefits of one is against the other, whether it's porcelain or Indian sandstone, maybe on patios and stuff. And then go through the pricing structure, what deposit they're going to pay, how they're going to pay for it, what stage payments they're going to pay, what dates, all that kind of stuff. Once we agree, we can get it all in writing. They then pay a deposit. Now, deposits are really important, because part of the quoting system is a deposit. I mean, we've come here, you say they want the job, if they go in the diary, they've got to pay a deposit, because if they cancel, then the deposit is non-refundable. And quite often it doesn't even fill the money that we lose in the job. So it's just kind of a little gesture, and I find that generally if people pay a deposit, then they're serious about you having the work. If you want to watch another video, then I'll leave a little link above. You can go back, and it's about quoting that we've done previously on a Selwyn van vlog. So enough waffling for me. I think now I'm going to take everybody's advice, and I'm going to go and get my Lionel Blair cut, I think, if I can squeeze in somewhere, because it's driving me cuckoo. There we are, look at that bad boy. Been to have the old Lionel Blair cut. Believe it or not, it's done. I forgot to mention, when you're looking at your driveways, always look out for water and the services, gas and electricity as well, because if you see them going up the drive, which you quite often do, 9 times out of 10 they're low enough you won't even see them, but sometimes you do come across them and they do catch you, and there is a bit of an issue. So you may need to put that on your quote as a little sideshow on your quote, as an advisory, that if you do come across them, then obviously it's not my responsibility as Brickright. It would we'd have to look at that and see what we need to do about that, just to let the client know. See you soon. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you need to ring us on anything, the mobile's numbers on the website, give us a ring or send us an email, or whatever. And yeah, if you like and subscribe to the channel, it'd be fantastic. Enough waffling. See you soon. Take care.